Welcome to this transformative self-coaching program designed to help you integrate and heal the pattern and beliefs of marijuana addiction. This is an emotional EMDR mini course whose goal is to guide you through a process of understanding, reframing, and building resilience to this pattern or belief. It is recommended that you use this program in full screen mode, while sitting still and upright. Follow the movements of the ball or pattern on the screen with your eyes. As the words from the audio are spoken, notice the feelings they evoke in your body and any mental images that may arise. If your mind starts to wander, gently redirect your focus back to the moving ball or pattern. Optionally, or if you are not able to use video, you can also tap on one or more EFT points. How it works. In step 1, we evoke the distressful emotional state of the belief or pattern. Note: this can be emotionally triggering, so take the necessary precautions for this. In step 2, we offer ourselves loving, compassionate self-acceptance for this state and beliefs. We then reframe the belief, pattern or state with new positive suggestions to the mind. We then bridge the mind into the new, more positive reality. We finally express gratitude for the new positive reality, taking it as fact. Ready. Section 1. Unpacking emotional experiences. We begin with a setup of the issue. Even though I struggle with this pattern, I choose to still deeply love, honor and accept myself, and I am open to a more empowering state of being. Take a deep breath. I often feel like my addiction to marijuana is a repeating cycle I can't escape, possibly rooted in unresolved issues from my past lives. My childhood was filled with instability and exposure to substance use, which now feels like it set the stage for my own addiction. I've always seen addiction run in my family, and it feels like I'm just living out an inevitable pattern. I struggle with intense anxiety and depression, and smoking marijuana seems like the only way I can cope. I use marijuana to escape from my feelings of stress and emotional pain, and I can't imagine facing life without it. I feel physically dependent on marijuana. My body just craves it, and I feel helpless to resist. When I try to cut down or stop, the withdrawal symptoms are unbearable, both physically and emotionally. I've lost meaningful relationships due to my addiction, but I can't seem to change my behaviors. My social life revolves around marijuana, and I feel disconnected from people who don't use it. I've noticed my work and daily productivity suffering, but I can't seem to find motivation without marijuana. I feel spiritually disconnected and lost, as if my addiction is blocking me from a greater purpose in life. I sense that my energy is constantly low or blocked, and I feel stuck in a negative cycle. Deep down, I believe I'm not worthy of a better life, and this addiction is what I deserve. I often think that I'm powerless to change my life, and marijuana use is just a part of who I am. I feel like my emotional pain is so deep that only marijuana can numb it. I'm afraid of facing the real issues in my life, so I use marijuana to avoid them. I believe that I'm too far gone to be helped, and no one can understand my addiction. I feel like my mental health issues are insurmountable, and marijuana is my only relief. I'm scared of being judged or rejected if I show my true self without the influence of marijuana. I feel like my addiction is my identity, and without it, I wouldn't know who I am. I believe that life is inherently painful, and marijuana is my escape. I think that I'm not strong enough to handle life's challenges without marijuana. I feel like my addiction is a burden to others, but I'm too weak to change. I often feel hopeless and think that happiness and health are unattainable for me. I'm convinced that I can't connect with others genuinely unless I'm under the influence of marijuana. I believe that my addiction is the only thing keeping me from falling apart completely. I feel like my past mistakes and traumas define me, and marijuana helps me forget. I think that recovery is impossible for me, and trying to change is pointless. I'm afraid of the unknown, and staying in the cycle of addiction feels safer. I believe that I don't deserve love or success, so I sabotage myself with marijuana. I feel like my life lacks meaning and direction, and marijuana fills that void. I'm convinced that the world is against me, and my addiction is my only ally. I believe that my physical and emotional pain are too great to overcome without marijuana. I feel like I'm trapped in a cycle of negativity that I'm too weak to break. I think that true happiness and peace are illusions, and marijuana is my only reality. Section 2. Feel into this balanced, compassionate perspective from your inner coach. Maintain your attention on the EMDR screen, following the movements of the shape or pattern with your eyes. I compassionately welcome my feelings of being trapped in a cycle of marijuana addiction, acknowledging the depth of my struggle. I gently accept my background of instability and exposure to substance use, recognizing how it shaped my experiences. I warmly embrace the pattern of addiction in my family, understanding its profound impact on me. I lovingly acknowledge my use of marijuana to cope with anxiety and depression, seeing it as a response to my pain. I hold space for my use of marijuana to escape stress and emotional pain, empathizing with my need for relief. I compassionately accept my physical dependence on marijuana, recognizing the challenge it poses. I kindly understand my difficulty in quitting marijuana, acknowledging the intensity of withdrawal symptoms. I gently hold my loss of relationships due to addiction, seeing it as part of my journey. I lovingly accept my social life's dependence on marijuana, understanding the sense of connection it brings. I compassionately recognize the impact of marijuana on my work and productivity, seeing it as a coping mechanism. I warmly embrace my spiritual disconnection due to addiction, acknowledging the search for a deeper purpose. I kindly accept the feeling of low or blocked energy, seeing it as part of my struggle. I lovingly hold my belief of unworthiness, recognizing it as a reflection of my inner pain. I gently acknowledge my feelings of powerlessness in changing my life, understanding the depth of this belief. I compassionately embrace my use of marijuana to numb emotional pain, seeing it as a response to my suffering. I lovingly understand my use of marijuana to avoid real issues, recognizing the fear it represents. I gently hold the belief that I'm beyond help, empathizing with my feelings of isolation. I compassionately accept my reliance on marijuana for mental health relief, acknowledging my struggle for peace. I warmly embrace my fear of judgment or rejection without marijuana, understanding the vulnerability it reveals. I gently acknowledge my identification with my addiction, recognizing the complexity of my identity. I lovingly accept my view of life as painful and my use of marijuana as an escape, empathizing with my need for solace. I compassionately hold my belief of not being strong enough without marijuana, recognizing this as a sign of my inner struggle. I kindly understand my addiction as a perceived burden, empathizing with my feelings of weakness. I warmly embrace my feelings of hopelessness and belief that happiness and health are out of reach, acknowledging my despair. I compassionately acknowledge my belief that genuine connection requires marijuana, understanding my search for authenticity. I gently hold the belief that addiction keeps me from falling apart, recognizing the safety it provides. I lovingly accept my use of marijuana to forget past mistakes and traumas, empathizing with my need for escape. I compassionately embrace my belief that recovery is impossible, acknowledging the depth of my discouragement. I kindly understand my fear of the unknown and preference for the addiction cycle, recognizing it as a search for safety. I gently hold my belief of undeserving love or success, empathizing with my self-sabotage. I warmly embrace my feeling of lack of meaning and direction, acknowledging marijuana's role in filling that void. I compassionately acknowledge my belief that the world is against me and addiction is my ally, understanding the comfort it brings. I lovingly accept my belief that my pain is too great to overcome without marijuana, recognizing the depth of my struggle. I gently hold my feeling of being trapped in negativity, empathizing with my sense of weakness. I compassionately embrace my view that happiness and peace are illusions, acknowledging marijuana as my perceived reality. Section 3. Visualizing positive change. Take a deep breath. I am open to the possibility of finding strength and solutions beyond my addiction, embracing new paths for healing and freedom. I am choosing to focus on creating stability and health in my life, transforming the lessons of my past into stepping stones for growth. I am ready to break the family pattern of addiction, recognizing my power to forge a different path for myself. I am beginning to see that there are healthier ways to manage my anxiety and depression, and I'm open to exploring them. I am open to discovering new methods of dealing with stress and emotional pain that don't involve marijuana. I am willing to consider that my body and mind have the capacity to heal, moving towards a life free of physical dependence. I am choosing now to find healthy ways to cope with withdrawal, believing in my ability to persevere and succeed. I am ready to rebuild meaningful relationships, understanding that change and healing can mend past hurts. I am open to the possibility of forming connections that are not centered around marijuana, enriching my social life. I am choosing to focus on improving my work and productivity, finding motivation in my abilities and passions. I am open to reconnecting with my spiritual self, finding purpose and meaning beyond my addiction. I am willing to explore ways to unblock and elevate my energy, stepping into a more positive and dynamic cycle. I am ready to embrace my worthiness for a better life, shedding the belief that addiction is what I deserve. I am choosing to see myself as capable of change, believing that my life's story is more than my addiction. I am open to the idea of healing my emotional pain through healthy and supportive means, beyond just numbing it. I am ready to face the real issues in my life, finding courage and strength to confront them without marijuana. I am choosing to believe in the possibility of being helped and understood, opening myself up to support and empathy. I am willing to explore new ways of managing my mental health issues, fostering resilience and finding relief in healthier habits. I am beginning to see that I can be accepted and loved for who I am, without the need for marijuana to mask my true self. I am ready to redefine my identity beyond my addiction, discovering and embracing the multifaceted aspects of myself. I am open to the idea that life can be fulfilling and less painful, and I can find joy and peace outside of my addiction. I am starting to believe that I am strong enough to handle life's challenges without relying on marijuana. I am choosing to see my addiction not as a burden, but as a challenge I am capable of overcoming with support and determination. I am ready to let go of hopelessness, embracing the belief that happiness and health are within my reach. I am open to forming genuine connections without the influence of marijuana, discovering authentic relationships. I am choosing now to see that I can hold myself together and find stability through means other than my addiction. I am willing to explore healing from my past mistakes and traumas, finding ways to remember without being overwhelmed. I am beginning to see that recovery is possible for me, and I am open to the journey of change and self-improvement. I am ready to face the unknown with courage, stepping out of the cycle of addiction into a space of safety and growth. I am open to the possibility of deserving love and success, challenging my self-sabotaging behaviors and embracing my worth. I am choosing to find meaning and direction in my life, filling the void with purposeful and fulfilling activities. I am open to the idea that the world can support me, and I can find allies beyond my addiction. I am ready to believe that I can overcome physical and emotional pain without marijuana, finding strength and resilience within. I am willing to break free from the cycle of negativity, finding the strength and resources to create a positive change. I am choosing to focus on the reality that true happiness and peace are attainable, and I can experience them beyond my addiction. Section 4. Bridging the two worlds from emotion to aspiration. Remember to maintain your focus on the EMDR screen, following the movements of the shape or pattern with your eyes. Even though I often feel trapped in my addiction to marijuana, I compassionately welcome these feelings, acknowledging my struggle, and I am open to the possibility of finding strength and solutions beyond my addiction, embracing new paths for healing and freedom. Although my childhood was filled with instability and substance use, I gently accept my background, recognizing how it shaped me, and I am choosing to focus on creating stability and health in my life, transforming these lessons into stepping stones for growth. Even though addiction runs in my family, I warmly embrace this pattern, understanding its impact, and I am ready to break it, recognizing my power to forge a different path for myself. While I struggle with anxiety and depression and use marijuana to cope, I lovingly acknowledge this is a response to my pain, and I am beginning to see that there are healthier ways to manage these feelings. Though I use marijuana to escape stress and pain, I hold space for this need, empathizing with myself, and I am open to discovering new methods of dealing with these emotions without marijuana. Despite my physical dependence on marijuana, I compassionately accept this challenge, and I am willing to consider that my body and mind can heal, moving towards a life free of this dependence. While trying to quit marijuana brings intense withdrawal symptoms, I kindly understand my difficulty, and I am choosing now to find healthy ways to cope, believing in my ability to persevere. Although I've lost relationships due to my addiction, I gently hold this loss as part of my journey, and I am ready to rebuild these relationships, understanding that healing can mend past hurts. Even though my social life revolves around marijuana, I lovingly accept this dependence, and I am open to forming connections not centered around marijuana, enriching my social life. While marijuana affects my work and productivity, I compassionately recognize this as a coping mechanism, and I am choosing to focus on improving my work, finding motivation in my abilities. Despite feeling spiritually disconnected due to addiction, I warmly embrace this disconnection, and I am open to reconnecting with my spiritual self, finding purpose and meaning beyond my addiction. Though I feel my energy is low or blocked, I kindly accept this feeling as part of my struggle, and I am willing to explore ways to unblock and elevate my energy, stepping into a more positive cycle. Even though I believe I'm not worthy of a better life, I lovingly hold this belief, recognizing it as a reflection of my inner pain, and I am ready to embrace my worthiness for a better life, shedding the belief that addiction is what I deserve. Although I often feel powerless to change my life and see marijuana use as part of my identity, I gently acknowledge these feelings, understanding their depth, and I am choosing to see myself as capable of change, believing that my life's story is more than my addiction. While I use marijuana to numb emotional pain, I compassionately embrace this response to my suffering, and I am open to the idea of healing this pain through healthy and supportive means, beyond just numbing it. Though I use marijuana to avoid real issues in my life, I lovingly understand this is a reflection of my fear, and I am ready to face these issues, finding courage and strength to confront them without marijuana. Even though I believe I'm too far gone to be helped, I gently hold this belief, empathizing with my feelings of isolation, and I am choosing to believe in the possibility of being helped and understood, opening myself up to support and empathy. While I rely on marijuana for mental health relief, I compassionately accept this struggle, and I am willing to explore new ways of managing my mental health issues, fostering resilience and finding relief in healthier habits. Although I fear judgment or rejection without marijuana, I warmly embrace this fear, understanding the vulnerability it reveals, and I am beginning to see that I can be accepted and loved for who I am, without the need for marijuana to mask my true self. Even though my addiction feels like my identity, I gently acknowledge this complexity, and I am ready to redefine my identity beyond my addiction, discovering and embracing the multifaceted aspects of myself. Though I view life as painful and use marijuana as an escape, I lovingly accept this view, empathizing with my need for solace, and I am open to the idea that life can be fulfilling and less painful, and I can find joy and peace outside of my addiction. While I think I'm not strong enough without marijuana, I compassionately hold this belief, recognizing it as a sign of my inner struggle, and I am starting to believe that I am strong enough to handle life's challenges without relying on marijuana. Despite feeling my addiction as a burden, I kindly understand this perception, empathizing with my feelings of weakness, and I am choosing to see my addiction not as a burden, but as a challenge I am capable of overcoming with support and determination. Even though I often feel hopeless and think happiness and health are out of reach, I warmly embrace these feelings, acknowledging my despair, and I am ready to let go of hopelessness, embracing the belief that happiness and health are within my reach. While I believe I can't connect genuinely without marijuana, I compassionately acknowledge this belief. Understanding my search for authenticity, and I am open to forming genuine connections without the influence of marijuana, discovering authentic relationships. Even though I feel my addiction is keeping me from falling apart, I gently hold this belief, recognizing the safety it provides, and I am choosing now to see that I can hold myself together and find stability through means other than my addiction. Though I use marijuana to forget past mistakes and traumas, I lovingly accept this need for escape, empathizing with my pain, and I am willing to explore healing from these past experiences, finding ways to remember without being overwhelmed. While I think recovery is impossible for me, I compassionately embrace this belief, acknowledging my discouragement, and I am beginning to see that recovery is possible for me, and I am open to the journey of change and self-improvement. Even though I'm afraid of the unknown and prefer the addiction cycle, I kindly understand this fear, recognizing it as a search for safety, and I am ready to face the unknown with courage, stepping out of the cycle of addiction into a space of safety and growth. Though I believe I don't deserve love or success and sabotage myself with marijuana, I gently hold this belief, empathizing with my self-sabotage, and I am open to the possibility of deserving love and success, challenging my self-sabotaging behaviors and embracing my worth. While I feel my life lacks meaning and direction, I warmly embrace this feeling, acknowledging the role of marijuana in filling that void, and I am choosing to find meaning and direction in my life, filling the void with purposeful and fulfilling activities. Even though I'm convinced the world is against me and addiction is my ally, I compassionately acknowledge this belief, understanding the comfort it brings, and I am open to the idea that the world can support me, and I can find allies beyond my addiction. Though I believe my pain is too great to overcome without marijuana, I lovingly accept this belief, recognizing the depth of my struggle, and I am ready to believe that I can overcome physical and emotional pain without marijuana, finding strength and resilience within. While I feel trapped in a cycle of negativity, I gently hold this feeling, empathizing with my sense of weakness, and I am willing to break free from this cycle, finding the strength and resources to create a positive change. Even though I think true happiness and peace are illusions, I compassionately embrace this view, acknowledging marijuana as my perceived reality, and I am choosing to focus on the reality that true happiness and peace are attainable, and I can experience them beyond my addiction. If you were tapping, you can stop as we go into gratitude. Section 5. Preemptive gratitude for transformation. These affirmations are designed to uplift your spirit, align you with your highest self, and resonate with the boundless love and support that the universe offers you. I am grateful for my inner strength that has guided me through my journey towards freedom from addiction. I am thankful for the lessons learned from my past, which have shaped me into a resilient and empowered individual. I am appreciative of my ability to break familial patterns and create a healthier life for myself. I am grateful for discovering new, healthy ways to cope with my anxiety and depression. I am thankful for the courage to face my stress and emotional pain without relying on marijuana. I am grateful for the healing of my body and mind, freeing myself from physical dependence. I am thankful for the strength to cope with withdrawal and the perseverance that has led me to recovery. I am appreciative of the restored and new relationships that have blossomed in my journey towards health. I am grateful for the diverse and enriching social life I've cultivated beyond my addiction. I am thankful for the renewed focus and productivity in my work, fueled by my passions and abilities. I am grateful for reconnecting with my spiritual self, finding purpose and meaning in my life. I am appreciative of the renewed energy and positivity that flow through me. I am thankful for realizing my worthiness for a better life, shedding limiting beliefs and embracing my true potential. I am grateful for embracing the power to change my life, seeing myself as more than my addiction. I am appreciative of the healing journey for my emotional pain, finding supportive and healthy ways to cope. Section 6. Closing and next steps. Take a deep, rejuvenating breath. Congratulations on completing this transformative session. Take a note of how you feel in comparison to how you started, and consider journaling your notes about this session and any areas you'd like to explore. Be attentive to the potential reduction in the emotional weight of certain memories and actual circumstance shifts in your daily life. Note that it may take one, several, or many uses of this program to completely clear or reframe this pattern and beliefs. This program and affirmations serve to fortify your inner journey toward a more empowered state. Feel free to revisit them whenever you need to. For more details, see the link in the bio or description below.